Hi everyone, welcome to another Imperial Assault video. So for this one I'm going to run down FAQ version 2.2, which goes effective on the 18th of July. I'm also going to talk briefly about a new tournament map that comes into rotation. That's the Coruscant Landfill from the Bantha pack. So we'll just jump straight into it and move on to the FAQ. As usual for my Imperial Assault videos, I'm going to be covering mainly the skirmish sides of the game. If you want to have more of a focus on the campaign, you should probably check out something like boardwars.eu, a really good podcast and have a lot of content on YouTube as well. I'm actually drinking coffee to try and stop the yawning. It's been a long day today, so I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. Joel will kill me. But yeah, onto the skirmish thing. The first one on the FAQ that comes in that's new, it's on page 4. That is, does an attachment skirmish upgrade card change the deployment cost of a deployment card to which it is attached? And the answer to this is no. The attachment is simply scored simultaneously when the group to which it is attached is defeated. Any effects that refer to a group's deployment cost do not take the cost of the attached skirmish upgrade into account. This is obviously with the addition of things like Obi-Wan Kenobi, stuff like that. It means if you attach something to an Ugnaught Tinkerer, for example, it doesn't make costs suddenly 4 points, so Obi-Wan will still kick in. Other than that, I can't really think of any other reason why it would have been asked, but it's just worth noting that targeting computer, I think upgrades like that, they're just scored at the same time. It doesn't actually affect how the model's priced. Yeah, the next one for skirmish comes in on the Ugnaught Tinkerer. This is actually an interesting one. I spoke about this when I was reviewing the mercenary part of the Bespin release, and something that really needed clarifying. I couldn't figure out exactly how we were supposed to work with the junk droids, but after an Ugnaught Tinkerer places a junk droid, can that junk droid act ready and activate with all of that player's Ugnaught Tinkerers or only the one that created it? A junk droid can ready and activate with each Ugnaught Tinkerer. So it's a good way of actually clarifying it. It was pretty obvious through the wording that you could only have one junk droid in play at a time. So this is a good way of keeping it relevant. I feel like you can get some good actual pieces moving around. Good synergy with it now. It's still a really powerful throwaway activation for the scum mercenaries. Potentially you can move, I think I worked it out that you could get an elite Ugnaught Tinkerer to create it, then interrupt with its second action to move it, then activate a second Ugnaught Tinkerer which will ready the droid, move, interrupt to move again. So that's 4 moves so far, and then you can have 4 regular Ugnaughts to give it another 4 lots of activating. So pretty interesting. You can speed that little shitbag around the map quite well, and it'll do some fun things. I don't think it's going to be massively overpowered, but now it does force your opponent to have to deal with it. What else is there? Can the junk droid activate before the Ugnaught Tinkerer with which it is activated? Yes. So when you ready the Ugnaught Tinkerer, the junk droid readies as well, and then you can choose which one activates first. You don't need to go with the Ugnaught first. The next part that's new is the Bantha the Rider villain pack. When I play Junlun Terror, do I need to gain 2 movement points before resolving the attack or special action? That is no. The 2 effects can be resolved in either order. I think that's really good. It adds a bit more versatility to how the Bantha Rider works, especially when you look at the next part of the FAQ and how moving in the end step works. So I'll cover that question as well. Can a Bantha Rider or any massive figure end its movement in spaces containing other figures multiple times during the end of round step? Answer is no, it can only do this once during the end of round step. So I thought that was pretty obviously the way it was going to get ruled. I'm quite happy with it. And it goes really well with the previous question. So now you can do your attack to generate move points from the other command card, stuff like that, and then move, potentially getting you to a space that you couldn't have occupied if you had to move first. So I like it. I think it's a good beneficial change for Bantha, or a beneficial clarification, I should say. And then this one comes more in for a campaign, but I don't think there's a way it can happen in skirmish for a Bantha, but maybe other figures. But when effect places a Bantha Rider or any massive figure, is it considered to have ended its movement? Yes. Okay. Then the next section is one that I was definitely doing wrong, for the constant motion part of it anyway. This is a look at the Layer Ally pack and the missions from the... So the first one's pretty obvious, I thought, but some people obviously had problems with it because it does feel a little bit cheesy depending on the list you're facing. But in the skirmish mission Fallout, can a player attack any of the 4 doors or only the 2 doors to a command room? So the answer is all 4 doors can be attacked, even though only the doors to a command room are locked. The rule allowing a figure to attack a door applies to all doors on the map. I thought that the full stop in the description for how the mission worked made that clear enough, but it did feel a little bit cheeky when you've got Leia shooting at a door just to try and pull a card back into a deck and stuff like that. Then the next one is on the constant motion. So in the skirmish mission constant motion, do players take turns moving patrol droids until all 3 have been moved? Or does each player move only 1 patrol droid? And the answer to this is each player moves only 1 patrol droid. That's one that I was actually doing wrong. I was doing it that the player with the initiative moves the first and the last droid, with the person without initiative moving the middle one. But I don't mind that change. It does slightly modify some of the strategies I had with trying to control those objectives, but nothing too drastic, and probably brings the balance back into just a generally more balanced campaign play experience. And then I think that was all of the skirmish changes. Yep. So now we get to have a look at the new map. So I butchered the names for this one earlier, so I'm going to enjoy butchering them again. Fun times. So the first mission on this map is the Coruscant Landfill, which is from the Bantha Rider. The first mission is the Lure of the Dianagar. I hate Star Wars words. It's my favourite. So we're going to call it the Gribbly monster from the Trash Compactor. So the Gribbly can be attacked. It has health 20 and defense 3, so it's a tough little bugger. After an attack targeting it is resolved, the attacking player claims tokens equal to the damage suffered, and when the player defeats it, you immediately gain 5 victory points, and each player gains victory points equal to the number of tokens he claimed. At the end of each round, you roll 1 green die. For each figure within 4 spaces of it suffers damage equal to damage rolled. And it occupies, where are we? this square here. Come on. So 4 squares is up to like this point. And here. Anywhere in that room basically, to here. So it can really reach out and touch someone, you know. Any of this area is asking for it. Well, it's a good mission. I actually I like this mission a lot. It's got potential to bring some new things into a meta. I feel like just the toughness that it has and the amount of victory points up for grabs. That was 25 points up for grabs. If you ignore that, it's gonna be it's gonna bite you in the ass. Some things I think are good about anything that's got pierce is gonna do well here. Saber strikes with a pierce 3 are gonna be good. So Davith, Luke, Vader, the Inquisitor, all these people are gonna cut through that defense really well. Saboteurs can do decently well against it. But yeah, any of the pierce-based attackers, and obviously just mass damage if you can guarantee a few red die. So and multiple attacks. So if you've got stuff that you've put in your list to try and kill a Panther, it should do well against this thing as well. I also see the potential for it to not die and really clean out parts of your list as well, which should be pretty funny. But lists I think that are going to do well, I'd like to think that you could bring the hover tank into this and really chew it up really fast. The other one I wanted to bring up was that it's pretty similar to the door when you're shooting it in the training ground scenario, in that you don't want to put it to a point where your opponent can easily kill it. You want to try and keep it hovering at around a nice health for you to take down, because if you leave it on 1 health, that basically almost guarantees your opponent 6 victory points. The 5 for killing it and the 1 that it would have done to remove that last health. So there's some interesting interactions there, and obviously it's a nice central thing that brings you in, but equally does damage to you as well. So that is the first one. And the second mission is One Man's Trash, and this is the door to a trash compactor are locked. They have health 10 and defense 2, so the doors are actually, just let me make sure I don't mess it up. So the doors are, come on, here, here, and then there are doors in this bit as well, but these ones aren't locked. But again, it should be ruled the same as on Lay's map, but these can also be attacked. Yeah, so the doors for trash compactor are locked, and they have 10 health and 2 defense, so pretty rugged again. A figure can retrieve the crates, so the crates are actually located here, here, there's one here, here. I got bored of doing X's. And here, here, and here. And then once you've retrieved the crates, you can only carry one at a time, and they enforce -1 speed on you. And then at the end of a round, if you're carrying the crate and you're in one of the deployment zones, so this tile here, or this tile here, or if you're at a terminal, which is here, or I believe it is this square here. So that's a terminal. So if you're in any of those positions, you can you basically discard recreate and you gain 4 victory points. So that is 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 30, I can't even do math. It's so late. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32 points. I actually made this video once already and forgot to do it in paint, so I was talking about all this stuff and didn't actually show you guys what the stuff was, and I'm sure I did the math wrong last time, but that's a lot of points available. And they are all centered around this room. So the thing I really like about this map is the new stuff it's going to add into a meta, because if you sit Obi-Wan in like this square here, that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 in fact, yeah, so if Obi-Wan sits in this square, none of your opponent's figures are interacting with those if they've got a deployment cost of 3 or less. So makes Obi-Wan interesting on this map. The other ones I really like on this map are the Alliance Smugglers. Getting those 3 movement points after you interact with it can really negate the -1 speed for carrying stuff. So you can potentially interact with this one, 1, 2, 3, and get to this terminal. So there's loads of stuff like that. There's some interesting models. That's 2 for Rebels, Imperials. Send Vader into this room, and Vader will absolutely wreck people who try and come in. The Inquisitor, any of the maps that are going to force you into a tight clustered space, bring Vader back into a meta a little bit stronger. The Inquisitor, Royal Guard Champion are all 3 beat sticks that can do really well here. I feel like some of the big Imperial models might be good. A Bantha is really good on this map just because of the amount of space it can take up. If you can get a Bantha sitting blocking this doorway and then send all your hired guns in to just swoop around, or alternatively blocking that one, but just spreading out a little bit. It's also an interesting map for Smuggler's Run, because you're trying to get into your opponent's deployment zone anyway, and there's 3 routes to the opposite deployment zone. So I feel like this is a really good Smuggler's Run map. Then for Mercenaries, what was I thinking? Obviously, a Bantha's really good. Bosk's Indiscriminate Fire is pretty good in that room. The thing that we've struggled with the most for Mercenaries is all of this. I'll do it in dark blue. In white blue. But all of this difficult terrain, because they don't have anything that really ignores the difficult terrain. So you're looking at like Nexus with a mobile and a Beast Tamer to let them interact, stuff like that. So you can get them in there and then try and bounce them out with a pounce and things. It's going to be interesting where the meta goes, but I can see some good mercenary lists with Beast Tamer, Nexus and Banthas. It could work really well. And other than that, I'm not 100% what else could come into a meta on this map, but I've not managed to play it out and run through all the moves in my head. My gut's telling me that I like this deployment zone better at the moment, but that's because I tend to be more focused on these objectives. This one has better access to the terminals, and the easiest one to grab, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a better one. I think it's all going to display. Sorry, I've just taken the terminals out as well. So that was one here and here. So I like this one at the moment, just from my gut, because I like having more space here to actually fight for these. I feel like coming this way, you've got more of a difficult terrain. So I suppose with depending on how much mobile and ignoring this terrain you've got, this one could be a better option. But the deployment zone has more crap in the way. So if you've only got enough figures to, take up these kind of spots, it's not too bad. But if you start having to go past that it gets a little bit trickier for your movement, especially if you want to change your mind. Like this one is open in these squares, so it lets you try and come this way and stuff like that. But we'll see. I'm going to actually do a battle report on this map, I think, and try and get a video for. I've not done a battle report on anything on the channel yet, so it might be an interesting one to try out. But yeah, I'm really excited about the map. There's so many things that it adds in, and I think it's just going to be good fun. A really fun map. I'm glad they picked this one. It's also worth mentioning that one of the things I've heard against FFG for Imperial Assault in particular is the money grab for making you play with different maps and the components you need to buy and stuff like that. And we're going into this map will be at Worlds, so we'll lay a map, and I think Training Grounds might drop off just before, but that's two maps that don't have anything from Bespin in them, so I think that's pretty good. They could have put a Bespin map in to a skirmish rotation on this one and then drop something else just before Worlds, but I'm quite happy that this is going to be a good map, and it's going to enjoy what should be 9 months in the rotation, because they seem to be doing a minimum of like quarterly changes to a rotation, so it's good. I'm looking forward to it. That's why if you've got any different ideas for the deployment zones or any different lists you think are going to do really well, any changes to a meta that you see this map bringing in, please throw it in the comments. I'd love to have a bit more of a discussion on this. So any campaign stuff, feel free to ask, but BoardWars.eu is probably a better bet than me at the moment, just because I don't get to play as much campaign as I'd like. But that's about it. Thanks for watching, everyone, and leave some comments and we'll have a chat about it, and hopefully you can teach me where I'm going wrong. Cheers, everyone.